Hello and welcome to another episode of I Watched This as an Adult Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Mikkel Ford. Today we're going to be talking about the 1998 romantic comedy There's Something About Mary. That will be the retro review for today. Uh, if you like what you see and you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out in the algorithm so people can see my videos a little bit more. So uh, help me out there. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So help me, you can help me out right there. But Transformers Rise of the Beast review is out right now. If you want to go check that out, you can go check that out also if you haven't already. Let's get into this movie. Let's talk about There's Something About Mary. Let's get into the technical first. This movie was directed by the Farrelly brothers, Bobby and Peter. It was also written by the Farrelly brothers, Ed Dichter and John J. Strauss. The budget for this movie was $23 million, and it brought in $369.9 million at the box office. Big hit. Uh, first off, can't believe it. I really like this is serious. I really can't believe that this movie came out 25 years ago. Like this makes me feel old. It really does. Cause I remember everything about this movie, man. I remember this movie being the biggest movie of 1998. Like the summer of 1998, this is one of the biggest movies of that year. And like this movie took the world by storm. Like it became a pop culture phenomenon. Like it launched the careers of Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz into the stratosphere. And like I remember all the hype about this movie, and like this is why it makes me feel old, because like I remember seeing this movie. I was like 13, I think. I was like either 13 or 14 years old when I saw this movie, and I thought this was the funniest thing I've ever seen at the time. But I'm older now, so let's see how I like this movie as an adult. First off, this movie has the weirdest opening I've ever seen. It's two guys singing in a tree and lacklusterly playing. I don't even know if that's a word. Lacklusterly playing instruments. Like it's weird, but it's funny somehow because like those guys show up every now and again. Like there's a like Mary theme song. Like Mary has her own theme song, and like every time something happens, like these guys show up and sing about her for some reason. I don't get it, but it's funny for some reason. I don't know why. The first part of the movie is a flashback. We have Ben Stiller playing the oldest looking teenager ever. Like he looks like he fell out of the vagina with an AARP card. Like that's how old he fucking looks. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Cause I know you got like adults that play teenagers, but like he looks super old. He looks like a narc. He looks like he's like joined. He looked like he joined like 21 Jump Street or some shit. That's what he looks like. That's an old show. Oh, there's movies. I forgot. I keep forgetting that 21 Jump Street has movies now. you know, Cause like, hey, you kids, go look up 21 Jump Street. But there's two movies. But you can watch those. But but yeah, man, he looks old as shit. But Ben Stiller plays Ted, who's just this kind of average guy. He's not really a nerd, but he's not really a burnout, but he's not really popular either. Like he's just there. Uh, I could kind of relate to that because like that's how I was in high school. Like I wasn't really a nerd. I was smart, but like I wasn't really nerd. I wasn't a burnout, but I wasn't popular. I was just there. You know, it was just like, oh wow, didn't see you there. Hey, hey. It was like I was just there. Um, but he has a thing for Mary, played by Cameron Diaz. Like, she's the hot girl in school, of course, but like she's also like this kind of like girl next door type. Like that type of girl that likes to hang out with the guys and talk about football. She talks about sports. She's a 49ers fan and all this shit. But she asked Ted to the prom, and this turns out to be the worst day of his life. Because Mary has a mentally disabled brother named Warren. And Ted tries to play a prank on Warren. And Warren beats the shit out of him. Like he pummels Ted. Like, he beats the holy hell out of Ted. It's mad funny, man. It's really funny. Then he gets his dick stuck in a zipper, which is like probably the most famous scene of this entire movie. Like, it's also probably the grossest scene of this entire movie, because I cringe. I was like watching it again. I watching it again. Every time I watch this scene, I cringe. Every time I see it, it's like, oh god, it's so gross. It's so gross. And then just thinking about getting your dick caught in the zipper, like getting your genitals caught in the zipper, like, just it's ugh. But it's still funny. It's still funny. It's still funny. And like, that's the last time he sees Mary. And like, the shit bothers him so much that he goes to therapy about it. Like, I've never been that into a woman that I had to go seek therapy for it. But there's still time. There's still time. There's still time. Chris Elliott is back on my screen again. I'm like, I thought I was done with you, Chris Elliott. I dealt with you last week. I dealt with you in Scary Movie 2. Why are you back on my screen again, Chris Elliott? But like, Chris Elliott is back. He plays Ted's friend Dom, who suggests that Ted hires a private investigator to find Mary. Matt Dillon plays that private investigator named Pat Healy. Like, I never noticed in this movie. This is something I never noticed in this movie. I never noticed in this movie that they bring up that this gives off stalker vibes. Like, they're self-aware that this is stalker behavior. You're going to hire a private investigator to find a girl that you knew in high school, that asked you to the prom in high school. Like, it's not normal behavior. It's not normal behavior, but it's a lot like how guys act now. Like, it's really relevant. Like, this movie is really relevant now more than ever. Like, this movie should have just been called Incel. It really should have. Like, there's a lot of incel behavior going on in this movie, but I'll talk about that when we get there. Healy starts trailing Mary, and then like, he starts falling for her. He starts getting like a thing for her. He starts getting affection for her. So he lies to Ted. It says that Mary is fat and she like lives in the projects and she's got like 10 kids and shit, or something like that. So he can have Mary all to himself. Matt Dillon's an asshole in this movie, man. He really is. Like, between this and Wild Things, I never liked Matt Dillon, because like, he's just so good at playing slimy characters. Like, he's just so good at that. I don't know if that's a testament to him being just that good of an actor, or he's really like that. Because like, he might be a nice guy in real life. I'll never know. Like, he might be a nice dude. He might like give to the homeless and go to like shelters for battered women and help out there and donate and all this stuff. Who knows? I don't know. We'll never know. But Ted finds out that Healy lied to him, and he goes to find Mary himself. which I think that's a bad idea. Like, that's a bad idea. Like, leave this woman alone. Please. Like, leave this woman alone. She not thinking about you, bro. She not thinking about you. Like, it's just something I can't explain. It's just something I can't explain. I was like, why are you, like I said, stalker vibes. Stalker vibes. This movie in general, this movie really reminds me of Ace Ventura in the fact that this movie has like a lot of goofball humor that really works. Like, there's a lot of silly shit in this movie, but it works. Like, there's a lot of things in this movie that you shouldn't laugh at, but you can't help but laugh at. Like, we get introduced to another guy in Mary's life named Tucker, who was played by Lee Evans. It's like, I feel like Lee Evans was everywhere in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Then he just disappeared. I was like, where is Lee Evans? What happened to him? It was like he was like hot. He was like a hot commodity in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And then after about like 2005, he like disappeared. I don't know where the fuck he went. But Tucker is handicapped. It's something that the Farrelly brothers do a lot in their movies. They love to put people with disabilities in their movies. Like, and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that, because I don't know if they're supposed to be making fun of them or empowering them. Because like it's a very gray line. But Tucker's a creep too. By the way, Tucker is a creep. All the guys in Mary's life are creeps, except her stepfather, played by Keith David. He's the only guy, and Warren. Those are the only guys in Mary's life that are not creeps. And Mary is just so like oblivious to how creepy these guys are. It's like that's like the reason like women aren't nice to men, because like most of us don't know how to be straight up with them and not be creepy. Like, just stop being creepy. Just stop being creepy. Like, just, I don't know how you can stop being creepy, but just stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Mary, like, even has a restraining order against the guy. It was like, if this movie wasn't so fucking hilarious, this shit would be terrifying. It was like they made a comedy out of something that should be serious. Like, this woman's life is in danger. But Ted ends up finding Mary, and they hit it off. Actually, we get like this whole like dating montage and all that shit. But then she finds out that Ted, he's not the most honest guy either. I mean, I guess like Mary just doesn't know how to pick him. Like, she even dated Brett Favre in this movie, and like he turned out to be the biggest piece of shit on God's green earth, and that's real life. That's not even a movie. Like, Brett Favre is a piece of shit. So like, he's always been a piece of shit. But she dated him. So like, by default, Ted is the best guy in the whole movie, because at the end of the movie, he gets honest with himself. And he takes that L. He's just like, hey, I don't deserve you. He's like, I came over here for false pretenses. I don't even think I fucking love you. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you be happy. And like, by default, that makes him the nicest guy in this movie. That makes him the best guy in this whole entire movie, because everybody else is a fucking creep in this whole goddamn movie. Every guy in this movie is fucking creepy as shit. But overall, I found this movie funny. I found this movie still funny. It's not as funny as it was when I was a kid, but I had a good amount of chuckles out of it. Like, I got more chuckles than I thought I would. There's no performances that stood out in this movie. Like, everybody was just like on an even keel. Cameron Diaz was the worst. I'm sorry. Like, I know this is the movie that took her, like, shot her into superstardom, but she didn't give a good performance in this movie. Like, her performance is terrible. It's not good. But still, I consider this a classic comedy. It's a top notch comedy. I give it a 4 out of 5. I'll be back next week with another episode. Next week is The Flash, so like I'll be back with my Flash review. Let you guys know what I think about The Flash. Until next time, peace.